Okay, so now I've got my assembly all decaled out, and I want to go from here to AutoCAD. And so to get from Inventor to AutoCAD, all you really do is you right click on the parts that you want to bring over. Well, in my assembly process, I kind of glued some stuff together. I constrained things to be a single part, and so it becomes difficult to send it over there. So I'm going to go back into the original parts. And so like here's my front wheel. And all I got to do is right click on this and hit export face as, and I want to do it as a DXF. It's a drawing export file. And then I just type in front wheel. And I've created a folder that I called RB car for rubber band car DXFs. And I'm saving everything in there. I need my rear wheel. So again, I just hit export face as, and I type in rear wheel. I need the roof. Export face as roof. And I need the sides of my car. And so here is, I'm going to call this one the left side. And then I'm going to rotate it, hit escape, export face as right side. Okay, so then that finishes up all my files. I've got a bunch of them already in that folder, and there we go, we've got them all there. So then I just simply open up AutoCAD, and I've already started this a couple times, so I'll show you from the main screen how you do it. You highlight all the files, and you take them and you just drop them anywhere on this screen like that. And then what AutoCAD is doing right now is it's tracing all of those parts. Now when it does that, it's not bringing over the images, and it's saying it's currently being used. That's fine. And so it's going to finish drawing all those parts, but it did not put the images on. So to put an image on, this is as far as I've gotten so far. So when you see it, it's like this. You just go to Insert, Attach, and then you find the image, and I called mine rims. And then I'm going to specify on-screen insertion point. My scale, I'm going to specify all that on screen. And so click there. Too small, too big. Okay, well, so I get as far as this, and I have not yet figured out how to cut off the excess of that circle. But in general, what you do is you take something like this, you go Control A to select everything, Control C to make a copy, and then you go into another image and Control V and paste. And you're going to do this with all of the parts. You're going to come in here, Control A, Control C, Control V, and I need 2 of these, and Control V. And you're trying to get the parts together so that there's the least amount of wasted space. Now I've gone through this, and I've already put the parts in here so that I can show you what we're doing. And so I've got all of the parts except for my axles. My axles look like this: Control A, Control C, Control V. This is what my axle looks like. Well, I need 4 of those. And so what I do is I also want to lay them sideways so that I can not waste any space. So I highlight that, I right click on it, and I select rotate. Then it says specify base point. I'm going to do that, and I want to rotate it 90 degrees. I do. And then I'm going to highlight it again, and this time I want to go to the home. I want to use the move feature, and I want to move this to right here. Click, and I've got it moved. I'm going to highlight that, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. Heck, I got tons of space for these. I'm going to print a couple more just in case something goes wrong. Okay, so I've got my axles, I've got all my wheels, my powertrains, I've got everything in a pretty compact space, and I'm ready to print. The problem is, this is not a printable item here. So what you need to do is, I'm going to come up and I'm going to select all of these parts, all of them, or I could have hit Control A, but I just learned how to lasso from this side. It highlights everything, and so I'm using that as much as possible. Under Properties, by layer, we want to change this first one to be a red, and not just any red. It's got to be this red that says red. And then Properties, I'm going to select this one to a 0.0 millimeter. And at that point, when I do that, and I hit Escape, all of these are now cut parts. I haven't figured out how to put my raster lines on there. The raster is what will be black lines on top of this, and all I would need to do is hit Control P, and if I were hooked up to the printer, I would be able to select the PLS 4.75, and I would be able to go from there. I don't want it to fit to paper. I want my scale to be 1:1, and again, if I actually had this at school hooked up to the printer, I would be able to choose the printer, and it would say that it's 24 inches by 18 inches. Then I would just hit OK, and I would be able to print from there. So if you get this far where you are ready to print and you have an image like this, save that. While I'm thinking about it, I should save that. So File, Save As, or Control S for save, because I already gave it a name. And then I'm ready to print that. In which case, I will see you in the next video.